Hey there. So today, well, I guess last night, the plus results were the plus voting ended, and I just want to take a little bit to talk about something that has been in the back of my mind for quite some time now, and I think this is probably the perfect time to, you know, talk about my opinions to the public and, have my voice be heard on this issue. Um, Results culture is obviously like not a great thing for us. But I think when plus voting comes out is when it truly gets put on full display. So I wanted to highlight this post by Ori, made yesterday, because I think it really nails home like what I'm trying to say here. Nobody in this community knows what getting better actually means, so all they want to do is get into plus servers or explain their skill with a div, which in my opinion means nothing right now. Stop putting a title to your skill and figure out how to win versus everyone. I never see anyone talk about the effort they put in behind the scenes. And I don't mean scrims, I mean hours VOD reviewing, theory crafting, mech practice, all the shit I did to get where I am, and I still have much further to go. You will make it into these practice servers and groups if you simply get good enough. And I don't want anyone to say that low levels have a lack of chances, because there's Sendu 10 open level tournaments a week, and X rank to give you chances to show off. At some point you will get a lucky break into something. That was me with one of the old 8 servers, which I'll talk about in a sec because that kind of leads into my explanation. But I actually had to be good enough to stay around that level of play, so I learned everything I could and showed that I could be good enough to at least practice with high levels. So I want to take a minute to talk about my experience with, not plus servers, but, a different kind of gatekeeping and why I think plus truly exists. So back in April, I was a part of a group of friends, and we decided that around the time that eights was being discussed as a method of practice that hadn't really been used in a while, we decided, hey, let's make one of these for mid-level. And we were like, okay, cool. So we did that, and it was actually a lot of fun. We had a small little server of like maybe 12 people, and we consistently could get on and like get good practice for a couple hours, and it was great. Fast forward about 2 weeks, and this person tells their friend to join, and then they tell their friend, and then all of a sudden there's like 100 people, and like a lot of these people are not really taking it that seriously, and most of the original people stopped playing because of this, because we're like, oh well, we're not really going to get consistent practice anymore, and we don't really know what these people are going to do, so it's not really worth our time anymore. And as stupid as it sounds saying out loud, because it's like, well, why don't you just give these people a chance? Well, it's more just the lack of certainty that comes with more people, because when you have a smaller group, it's like, all right, you know what to expect from this group of 12, 15, 20 players, right? It's when you start to get higher than that, then you start to lose track of what people are going to do. And I do think there is some value in not knowing exactly what's going to happen, but in terms of, getting consistent practice, those higher amounts of people just start to cause issues with consistency. And that's probably a whole other video in itself, but for now the point is I've been a part of the problem in that regard, and so I can understand why the plus servers exist. All right, I don't think they're all bad. I think limiting the people that can get this type of good practice isn't always a bad thing. I think in this context though, it gives people an unhealthy obsession with getting into these servers for good practice and acting like it's the only way to improve. And that's where I have to step in and say, you were just completely wrong in that regard. There are so many other ways, and Ori just talked about them in this post. There's other ways to show off how good you are, and there's other ways to improve. So there's really no need to make getting into this plus server your ultimate goal. And how I see it is also, why are you letting this the small group of people tell you how good you are at the game. That shouldn't be something that someone else has to tell you. You should be able to tell yourself, I'm him, and prove to yourself that you're good at the game. Stop looking for external validation from some 14-year-old who's probably like hasn't showered in like 2 weeks. Like we have to set our standards a little bit higher here. Like there's so many chances for you to improve your own game without being in these plus servers. You can, do aim drills, you can do VOD reviews, you can do all this shit to get better at the game. And it's just not worth your time to make plus server your main priority. That you should be setting better goals for yourself. You should be aiming to improve one aspect of your game. You should be looking to improve your mechanics, your game sense, all these things you could work on. I could go on, like your flexibility. All these things are much better goals than I want to get into +3 or +2 or +1 or this server or that server, or I want this person to like me. I want to be on this team. Like there's no value in any of that. It's all material. You're looking for the little plus next to your name when you're in Sendu queue. Like it's not worth it, man. Like this has turned into kind of a yap, but I think I've nailed the point home enough. Stop making the plus servers, stop glorifying them, is what I'm trying to say. Thank you.